rumors for many years that Vic and I were lovers. None of those turned out to be true, but then Microsoft wanted to get into the video game space.
Yeah.
And of course, they came along with their much ballyhooed Xbox in the year 2000. This is right around the millennium. It was right on the heels of the PlayStation 2. Microsoft said, hey, I want to eat at your table. Just make a space for me. I want to sit down
They wanted to be in the living room because they were worried that Sony was going to take it all for themselves, and Microsoft didn't want to lose that battle, so the Xbox was invented.
Tell me, did you go buy one?
Absolutely, and it was really cool to be there as this machine was being introduced in the world. I got to know Ed Fries and Seamus Blackley and Kevin Backus. Yeah, these were the guys inside of Microsoft that kind of had to fight the good fight to build this thing and get Microsoft to support it, build this whole division, and it was really exciting to watch some of their dreams come true.
I gotta tell you, in the rearview mirror, this is a bad machine.
It was faulty. The power supply on the thing burns out. The controller was too big.
I had a dirty disk error.
But it ran at 720p, and games like Incredible Hulk Ultimate Destruction look absolutely beautiful on it. What I think Microsoft kind of established with the Xbox is that if you wanted the highest fidelity for your third-party games, this is where you would go to get them first. You know, I remember playing Prince of Persia, Sands of Time on this system. I remember falling in love with Ubisoft Splinter Cell and Beyond Good and Evil.
You haven't mentioned the four-letter word that everybody knows and loves, and that's Halo, my friend.
You know, and I mean, that first party, they actually invested in some good stuff.
That was the game that put this machine on the map. I remember sitting on the toilet in my apartment in New York reading about the Xbox and these incredible LAN parties that people were having with Halo and gathering together and connecting machines and getting online really for the first time, because they were pioneers when it came to the online infrastructure. And they also shipped the first console that had a hard drive already installed inside of it. And so you could rip music to the hard drive. You could use that music while you were playing games as the soundtrack. Listen to me,
that was pretty smart.
You're right, though. That was the premium package. If you wanted the best version of a game that was shipped on multiple platforms, most of the time, you would be best off with the Xbox. But it was a problematic machine that Microsoft had no trouble abandoning.
Yeah, and they didn't have enough games for it.
But they let it all go.
But what they did have was first party back then, like Crimson Skies and Mech Assault. They had an NFL game of their own.
He makes the catch. The pass is complete to Jones.
And it was kind of sad to see Microsoft kind of move away from supporting a lot of their own studios in favor of really making connections in the third-party world, which is exactly what turned the Xbox 360 into such a success. They really reached out into the community and got them development kits early and got them into the architecture of Xbox 360 right away. So that became the first development kit for a lot of titles like Call of Duty 2. It became a much simpler machine to develop for than the alternative, which was Sony's PlayStation 3.
Well, you know, I will say this to Microsoft's great credit. They did learn from their mistakes very quickly, and they really made up for whatever deficits the Xbox had with the 360. They did a lot of stuff that was very pioneering at the time, like the achievement stuff, like creating the online avatars. And love it or hate it, spending that $60 a year for Xbox Live kind of became a must if you were going to call yourself a gamer. You needed that in order to access all of the online features, which were incredibly robust. We just started seeing games explode on the online front, like with Call of Duty Modern Warfare. Like, that was incredible. People are still playing that game to this day. Geometry Wars 2 was incredible. The Summer of Arcade came along and blew everyone's mind.
Yeah, and had some phenomenal titles for you to kind of sink your teeth into. I mean, look at Limbo or the Mark of the Ninja title.
Terrific.
Xbox Live Arcade as an early offering for a lot of these indie titles was really important. They've kind of fallen a little out of favor, I think, a little bit recently, and I think that they took their success a little too well.
Yeah, I think that's exactly it, because this was the first time that I was as proud of my virtual collection of games as I was of my real, tangible collection of games. I loved my hard drive on my 360. It has some of my favorite gaming moments stored there forever. I really fell in love hard with the Xbox 360, much more so than the PlayStation 3, but over the span of the life of the two of them, the teeter-totter started to tip back.
And I'll tell you what it was. It was Kinect. I mean, really what happened with Microsoft is that they cut down the amount of first-party investments that they were making and the actual manufacture of games. They were spending on Gears, they were spending on Fable and Forza and Halo, but really what they started to focus on was this new technology, this Kinect technology.
I thought it was the future.
Well, and I think it is the future, but I don't know if it was ready for prime time, you know? And so there were a lot of promises made and titles that we thought were going to be incredible, like Milo that never came out, the Kinect Star Wars, which was really disappointing.
I'm on solo, so long.
they really kind of shifted all of their attention over to building this new technology and getting us aware of this new way to interact with our device. And obviously, that's a big part of Xbox One again. But what was always the case is third party was always supporting the Xbox 360. I think the biggest and the strongest case you can make for the Xbox is that if a game comes out on multiple platforms, more often than not, I think gamers reach for the Xbox 360 version of the game.
I do. I still do. Yeah, I'll be honest with you.
And they kept that audience, like in sports, and I think a lot of it had to do with online play, even the Rockstar Grand Theft Auto 4 and Grand Theft Auto 5 and Red Dead Redemption and stuff. I think they were really huge on Xbox. And of course, all of the exclusives that they keep locking down in games like Call of Duty and Battlefield.
You know what? It was a sexy machine.
Yep.
Very beautiful. And even though it was very fragile,
yeah,
you couldn't even look at it or else it would start like getting
especially the first
smoking.
gen one.
I love it. I still love it. I've gone through like, what, 4 or 5 of them. The red ringing has been a real problem for a lot of people out there.
Yeah, and I think...
But I always keep a spare Xbox on hand 24 hours a day. Case of emergency, break glass, hook up this Xbox and keep on playing.